Old School is back. Dave, what are we playing today?
Well, it looks like a version of Gallagher 88, but it says now loading at the bottom, so I'm wondering if it's... Oh, look at that, perfect! So,
He's done it.
Produced by Perfect Namco, and it is...
Ridge Racer.
It certainly is. I'm just going to have a bit of fun with the flag, which people probably don't know you can do by holding the shoulder buttons and you can spin it around and all sorts. Anyway...
There it is, Ridge Racer. Yeah, Dave, lots of memories for both of us. One of your favourite races of all time. Dave is playing, guys. I'm just going to be watching here. This is going to bring back a lot of memories, mate. A lot of memories.
Absolutely. I absolutely loved this game. This was originally an arcade game, of course, and it was ported onto the PS1. And I loved this game from the very first moment I played it.
I'm glad you touched on that. Let's quickly... touch on that, the arcade version.
Yeah.
Did you like it, basically?
Absolutely loved it. So I've played a sit-down arcade cabinet of this, and it was fantastic. The PS1 version comes across really, really well. They did a good job considering the hardware they were dealing with. It's really, really good. It's fun. It's just a really, really good arcadey racing game.
I played the arcade version for the first time. I remember sending you a photo, mate, when I was in the arcade about 2 years back. My family went to a theme park near here, and there was Ridge Racer there. And it was literally the first time I played the arcade version of it, because I'd played loads of this. And yeah, I was blown away. But anyway, the PS1 version, this still looks very good.
It does, yeah. It looks absolutely fantastic. Now, one cool thing, I'm not sure if it was in this country as well as in North America, there was an arcade machine of Ridge Racer, and you actually sat in a Mazda MX-5 or a Mazda Miata to play the arcade game. It was fantastic, with a steering wheel and a set of pedals. I think we may have had it in Blackpool, but I can't remember.
Okay, that's awesome. This was a launch game on PS1, I think, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah. I'm not sure if it was a launch game everywhere, but I certainly remember we had it day one, as did the North American PlayStation gamers.
Now, I got to hold my hands up, guys. I never owned this. It's the typical story. I lent my friend... We must say this every episode of Old School. I lent my friend Tomb Raider, and my friend lent me this in return, or I borrowed it in return. I was blown away. I was just hooked. I was absolutely hooked. What about you, mate? What was your first impressions when you fired this game up on the PS1?
It was just wow, because before this I played a game that you and I have both played in the arcades. I played Virtua Racing on the Mega Drive, which was a bit of a primitive 3D racer in comparison. And obviously I'd played Star Wing or Star Fox on the SNES and was impressed with that. But to see this, oh my god, it was just like, wow, this just looks incredible. This is next level kind of stuff, I thought at the time.
And that rave music, man, absolutely banging in the background there.
Wow, you're going to hear me gushing on this one. I love the music. I'm a fan of it. But then I was a fan of electronica and techno back in these days.
You still are, mate. No such thing as back in the day. You still are.
I still am, yeah. I still am. The music's never left me.
Listen to that.
It's going off, mate. Absolutely going off.
So we were looking through our collection on Launchbox earlier, guys. I mistakenly clicked on Rage Racer.
Yes.
And Dave was like, Mike, that's Rage Racer. We're doing Ridge Racer for this video. Now, Rage Racer, I haven't played, mate. Is that a sequel to this?
It is, yeah, that's right. So there's a game that's in between that and this, which is Ridge Racer Revolution, which is actually the first Ridge Racer game I played. Rage Racer, there's a bit of a tweak to the format. It's a very good game, but we will cover it.
Car select. Can you choose other cars now, or have you got to unlock them?
I certainly can. So, because I beat that Gallagher game at the start, instead of just having 4 cars, I've got a selection of others, as you can see here. I've got some additional cars. Now, that little diamond you see, that's important, because you can see the cars have got different stats, and that makes a difference with how they drive.
Sure. Very similar to the PES diamond, which rates the player's skills.
That's right. I remember the ISS games had that diamond, but yes, it does make a difference. So I've chosen a different car, another car that I used to use when I played this.
Here we go. How does this shape up to other arcade races around the time on the consoles?
I put it right up there with Daytona USA. I think Daytona USA was outstanding as well. And of course, Sega Rally came a little bit afterwards, and I think Sega Rally is absolutely fantastic. This is right up there with all of them. It's one of, in my opinion, the best arcade racing games you'll ever play.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree
So
with that. I don't
good.
know if I've played Daytona, but Sega Rally
Yep, Sega Rally.
is fantastic. Absolutely
And also
fantastic.
And also the arcade version of Virtua Racing that you and I have both played.
Yes, good call, yeah.
Great game.
You see, I'm still a big lover of Outrun as well. I know it's
Outrun.
slightly different, but it's such a good game.
Outrun is fantastic. We do have to cover that because there are various different versions of that game. We have to cover it in the future. It's so good. It'd be criminal not to.
What is the best version of Ridge Racer?
The best? I'm a big fan of Revolution. I know a lot of people watching this that like Ridge Racer will say, no, Dave, it's Type 4, because Type 4 was very, very good. I was a fan of Revolution. That's the one I played the most and sunk the most hours into. But I have fully completed this and Revolution.
Yeah, this still holds up today really well. We were saying on Old School a few weeks back that sometimes with the PS1, the games haven't aged well because of the polygons and the graphical style. But for me, racers still always look good on the PS1.
They do. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at this. It looks absolutely fantastic. We haven't got any upscaling turned on. But with upscaling turned on, it almost looks like a PS2 game, an early PS2 game. It's that good.
That music, man. It's like a track from The Prodigy or something.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I was one of the few people that did because, you know, when I played this game and we talked about it as we did at school, people hated the music because of how repetitive it was. I loved it. It just sounded so cool. Yeah, there were people who, certainly in my sort of circle of friends, who hated the music. They absolutely couldn't stand it.
That's crazy. All of my friends loved it, but we were all sort of ravers, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, rave here, guys. If you aren't from the UK, I mean, rave was massive. It was big business here in the 90s.
Massive, wasn't it? And as you say, the Prodigy, they were huge at that time, and I absolutely loved the music. I was a massive fan, and still am, as you said earlier. Yeah.
I mean, the PS1 era was notorious for... We had, obviously, Wipeout, with especially Wipeout 2097 with the Chemical Brothers, the Prodigy, etc. on the soundtrack. It was that era, wasn't it? Again, I always go back to this, but the PlayStation making gaming cool, whereas with Nintendo, it's kind of still marketed at families and kids.
Yeah, totally agree. This was, especially as we talked about before, this appeared in nightclubs, and games like Ridge Racer, Wipeout, and Destruction Derby were playable on the perimeter of a dance floor. That is surreal to me.
Yeah, agreed. Listen to that bass. Bow, bow, bow. Play one more race, mate.
I'll do one more race. So I'll choose this yellow car. I'm going to crash everywhere because the car handling of this one is very bad, but I'll give it a go.
I was going to ask that. How is the handling on all the cars? Is it noticeably different?
It is, yeah. So this car, the handling and the grip statistics are not very good compared to the two cars I've just driven. So I'm not going to be able to corner as well as I did with those two cars, which are two of my favourites. With this one, I'm going to have to be really careful as I take corners. Oh, the drifting is going to be difficult. Drifting's going to be very difficult. You can see I've not got the grip.
That view, I know you love using this view. We always talk about this when me and you do our Friday night or Saturday night racing sometimes on the Xbox and PS5 with Gran Turismo. I can't do it, mate, that view you just had.
The bumper camera. I can with this game because I find it easier to control. I actually find this harder, even though when I was younger, I used this view.
Yeah, I just think it's because I like to see the car that I'm in, and appreciate its sexiness. Because this car is cool.
I just think it makes it easier to drive the car when you're behind it. Well, certainly that's how I felt when I was younger. Yeah. But now I'm used to this. I find it easier to steer and see where I'm going.
Most people who are really good at races do use that angle that you were just using, to be fair. Many people I know do not use this behind the car.
Wow. Okay, that surprises me. Is that in arcade games or just in general across the board?
In general. I heard someone, I think it was Jeff at Giant Bomb years and years ago when he was at Giant Bomb, was just saying he plays all the Forza, all the Gran Turismo games in that... What is that camera angle called? This one, basically. I don't know what it's called.
This is what I would call a bumper cam because it's on right on the front bumper of the car. Yeah. Oh,
But
I'm in the wall.
You really feel the speed as well, don't you?
You do, yeah. And as I say, I find it easier to take the corners because I can see the sides a lot easier, whereas from this, it's a little bit harder. But it's good.
Yeah,
nonetheless, it's still a mighty, mighty fine game.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm going to check it out as well and play a bit of this after we stop recording, guys. But that is Ridge Racer on the Sony PlayStation. Let us know your memories with this game. I'm sure many of you watching this have played this, played all the other Ridge Racer games. Let us also know what your favourite version of Ridge Racer is. Does it stand the test of time for you? We'll speak to you all soon. Take care.